What's up, everybody? Ryan from Craft Beer Review. With me, as always, is Bill, and we have a special guest, Dex Winchester, and then we have Shinigami has come back to talk about his upcoming fight with Big Smile and what he thought about Jake Paul. I don't know if you saw what happened with the Jake Paul fight, but if you didn't, Shinigami will fill us in on that and what he thinks about that guy and his fighting style. So without further ado, Shinigami, how are you, buddy? It's been a while.
Doing great, man. It has been a while. I missed you guys. You guys are awesome.
We missed you too. I mean, we've been in communication talking about your upcoming fight with Big Smile, and we did a brief little bit about what we thought about the fight down there in Virginia. So what do you think? Like, what were your thoughts? What was going through your mind during that fight? Because we really haven't had a chance to interview you since then.
I think I overestimated him. Is what happened. I definitely overestimated him. Pretty much everything I needed to know, I kind of found out in round one. He TKO'd a couple of guys. He submitted a couple of guys. But so I actually expected him to hit harder than he did. I expected him to be stronger on the striking power and actually not quite as strong on the grip strength grappling, because compared to the guy I was training with to fight him, his arms are kind of small. I think his arms are actually a little bit thinner than mine. Not to talk smack, that's just what I visually noticed. So I imagine my surprise when he had the vice grip strength on my leg when he grabbed me. And then he's hitting me in the ground and pound, and it doesn't hurt at all. Like it felt like a teenager, maybe like a half the size of our weight class, maybe tapping me. So I was sitting there waiting for a bomb to come, because sometimes that's how that goes. I'm sitting here waiting, like, okay, he's got about 10 hits on me. No hard shots are coming. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move so I don't get TKO'd, and restart the strike count and try to work my way back to my feet. And then there was a weird issue where the crowd was so loud that the ref thought he heard someone say time, and someone probably did. There wasn't the timekeeper, so they stopped the round a little early. Big Smile thought he won. I thought that they called it, and I was a little upset about it because I was fine. But that's why we're doing a rematch. Then went the rest of the fight, went a little longer than I thought it was going to. I got a head kick in there, but it wasn't deep enough to do what it was supposed to do.
You caught him, but it was just like a foot slap. It was like a toe slap.
I wasn't in far enough to hit him with the shin, man. I put my my instep on his chin instead of the shin, and it was kind of like because it was loud though. It sounded like I hit him with the shin, so I'm like, wait a minute. But yeah, no, I mean, it was definitely an interesting fight. I feel like I have his number for sure. I'm trying to get I'm actually training with my karate sensei again on the weekends, because I actually have a karate tournament that I'm going to compete in the same month after I fight Big Smile. As long as it still happens in June. There was a little mention that it might happen in July instead. I don't know yet.
Okay.
But it's still pretty much, as far as I know, set for like the early in July. And then I got a big tournament in Vegas after that. So I'm getting the karate footwork back in a little more than just strictly the more jiu-jitsu MMA kind of in one spot more kind of action. I'm going to be moving around a lot more the next fight for sure.
Do you think
which isn't really giving it away? I'm going to look a little more like I did my first couple of fights where I was lighter on my feet.
I noticed a couple of times you had him against the fence, and it looked like you had a clear shot for like an uppercut or like some sort of strike, and you didn't hit him at all. You just kind of played more defensive.
I was trying to set up the strikes without giving him a chance to grab my leg from there, because as long as my back wasn't against the cage, it would have been a little harder to defend the takedown from there. So I was trying to work more elbows than anything else, although there were a few more openings than I thought I had reviewing the footage. So you're definitely right. I probably could have set up a good right cross into a left hook and an uppercut or something. They just banned knees to the head in January too. That kind of affected how I fought, because there was a couple instances there where I could have really just drove a knee or two in there.
Completely banned? Not even if you have your hands down? It's just completely banned?
Yeah, knees to the head, because Memnon Warrior did it in his last fight and really, I guess, did some damage with the flying knee to his opponent in his little farewell match.
Oh. He's like a finely tuned like machine.
Yeah, that dude is a flashy. He's almost a Raymond Daniels Almost.
Almost,
Not
not quite. Yeah,
Not
but
quite.
man, he looks
No one else is Raymond Daniels but Raymond Daniels. But
so athletic though. Like
he's real athletic and he throws sneaky, flashy stuff. And in that way, he's a very similar type of fighter to Raymond Daniels, and that's a pretty good compliment.
Yeah, I saw once you mentioned him, everybody should go watch some Raymond Daniels clips. They're amazing.
Human highlight reel.
So the fight's going to be in late June, early July. Is that what you're saying?
Early June or early July, yeah.
Okay, and where are they going to have it in California? Do you know yet?
In Ojai, and in the yard where Streetbeefs West Coast 6 was.
Okay, awesome.
And where this upcoming Street Beefs this weekend is going to be. I'll be there cornering a few guys.
Yeah, I was watching a couple of the fights where you were reffing on there.
Yeah, they'll probably have me ref again too. That's fun.
Yeah.
Hey,
you're not worried? I'd be worried I was in charge of people's, I determine whether you get your face punched in or not.
So
no, it's actually not. The only time I was worried about anything was when I was reffing that Big Eric fight at the last Street Beefs, because those two dudes were huge, and Big Eric is actually a little bigger than me. And I'm sitting here going, I got to stay close enough to these guys that I can pay attention to what's going on and stop them if I need to. And I almost get the feeling I'm going to get punched in the face. Maybe I should go grab my mouth guard, which I didn't, but luckily enough. But yeah, no, I definitely feel like I've got it in the bag, especially after the way that boxing match Big Smile did like 2 weeks after to try to get ready, because a lot of people were criticizing him in the comments for not trying to strike with me enough.
So he's fought since you guys fought?
He did a boxing match at the Boxing Mixer 2 weeks after our fight, and he kind of.
What was the outcome of that?
He got TKO'd pretty quick. He got looked like he got rocked with a good body shot, and then the guy just kind of swarmed in on him, and he kind of crouched down like he wanted to go for a shot, which obviously you can't do in boxing.
Yeah.
So then I think he realized that. I don't know if it was just because he was hurt from the body shot, or if he realized that, oh, I can't shoot. So then he kind of just covered up. And the guy just teed off on him enough that they called it a TKO. I don't think he was that severely hurt. It's just one of those things where if you're not answering back, covering up is not intelligent defense in any combat sport.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah. So you after we interviewed you, you kind of got even more famous. We like to think it's because of our interview that Pat McAfee noticed you, but maybe it was that roundhouse kick to the head that you did on that guy.
Yeah, don't forget his name.
How did that shake out? Like, I saw he did that bit, about your fight, and then he was, hyping you up, and then we saw at the fight that he had bought a section at the back of your shorts.
The gi, it's in the back of my gi.
Yeah, that was awesome. So tell us all about that. We want to hear about that. How'd that go?
So I went on his show and he interviewed me, and then like a day after that, he asked me how he could sponsor me or what I needed, right? And I told him, I needed like $70 for baggage claim, which was true. And then he's like, all right, give me your cash app. I didn't have one, so I had to go make one, and I did. And lo and behold, he sponsored me quite a pretty chunk of change.
Nice.
Like $500.
Nice.
Yeah. So that took, actually I was going to use it to upgrade to first class on the way back, but it was too expensive. So I kind of just used it to upgrade to see with a little bit more leg room there and back. And then the rest of it kind of went to feeding me and my coach some not exactly victory dinner, but some I didn't lose dinner.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, it was a great result. We have another match coming up, and I felt like it was very close. Yeah, I felt like it was right to call it that way, I think.
I mean, I kind of feel, I understand. It's a draw I won't disagree with. I do personally feel like I edged it out by landing the more significant strikes in rounds 2 and 3, but I can see where it was a draw. And I kind of feel like it would have been a draw almost anyway, just due to that little issue with the first round time. Unless I had straight knocked him out, then it would have been it. But like I said, I'm not going to complain about the draw. I'm happy with the fact we're going to run it back. We're going to run it back in my home turf this time. See what I can do when I'm not as jet lagged.
Yeah, I was going to say, did that had to play a role in it? One, you had to get up earlier than you used to. Yeah. Plus, you've been traveling.
Yeah, the travel there kind of screwed up my acclimation plans. I actually tried to fly out 2 days early, and there was a delay in Denver because of the weather. So we didn't leave until almost an hour and a half after we were supposed to from there, because I had to like de-ice the wings, and then there was a whole bunch of planes scheduled to fly out of the same runway, so they had to wait. So I was supposed to land in Dulles at 11:30 p.m. on, like 2 days before, and I didn't get there until like 1:30 in the morning. So I didn't get back to didn't check into the hotel until like 2:30 in the morning the day before. So I tried to get up at like 8, 9 in the morning the day before anyway, just to kind of get ready for it. And just it didn't quite help. I mean, I did manage to get myself up and ready by like 10 o'clock the next morning when I got picked up, and I was all right. But it was a little weird that my body was telling me, why are you up? I don't care what that clock says. It's like 5 in the morning. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, my body does that to me every time I get up to go to work.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it definitely affected me just a little bit, but I don't think it affected me enough that it was in any way a big factor in the fight per se. But I do feel like I'll be a lot more sharp, if when I'm over here. So
yeah, well, we're looking forward to it, and for the craft beer fans and your fans that'll end up watching this video, keep an eye on Street Beefs. You look for early June, maybe middle June, maybe early July, whatever time they come up with on the West Coast, on your home turf. Rematch versus Big Smile. I think Shinigami Kai is going to come away with the victory. I feel like we were close on the East Coast there. I felt like a little bit of a traitor. East Coast guy repping a West Coast fighter, but you stick with the guy that you feel has got the best chance to win, right?
Yep,
Absolutely.
But all right, so let's talk about this fight. I don't even know if you want to call it that just happened on pay-per-view.
that wasn't a fight. It was a farce.
I think the best thing Bill did this weekend was not pay for that fight, because Bill,
I was really going to, and then it just got, I was at somebody's house. It got too late, so I didn't. Thank God.
Saved you what, 70, 80, $100?
Yeah, that was first of all, that was ridiculous. The price of it, I didn't pay for it either. I ended up seeing a clip of it later in the day. I heard the whole thing was just a ridiculous circus, though. Like it was like 4 or 5 hours long. There was like a Justin Bieber concert in the middle of it.
Oh yeah,
music.
Like who cares about Justin Bieber in 2021? Like what?
Well,
so before we even get into,
I kind of like Justin Bieber.
He's a believer. He's a believer.
I like the guy.
Here I thought you had better musical taste than your brother Brent there, but I guess not.
You want to fight Shinigami? I gotta ask you a question. Do you want to fight Steel Wool? No, you don't. Okay.
I don't know. I still don't think Steel Wool has the ability to withstand the Shinigami Hakai.
Thumb wrestling. All right, let's go.
Thumb wrestling. Oh, I don't know about that either, man. I'm pretty good at that too.
I'm adept at thumb wrestling.
But I don't know. We could run it.
So before we even talk about the fight, I maybe I just, because I'm getting old, like I don't really stay up to date on like these, like I want to call them like trending stars. Like growing up, like someone was famous and they were famous, it seemed, for a long period of time, but now it just seems like people are like a flash in the pan. And this guy, I had to ask my son, who's 13, who Jake Paul was, and he said he was on some Disney show. He said
he's a YouTube star.
Well, he said he was on some Disney show.
Hey, I don't know about the Disney show, but him and his brother are.
But he said he said they do dumb videos and they like pick on people. And now that he can fight, he bullies people. And my son says everybody hates him. And I was like, yeah, I watched a promo video of this, of where him and the guy that he was fighting when they were talking. And I was just like, God, I want that guy to get knocked out so bad.
Well, yeah, good. What do you think, Shinigami? I mean,
okay, so yeah, Jake and Logan Paul are two of the worst human beings on the planet as far as
wait a minute.
As far as people that aren't like national leader dictators with war.
How do you really feel about that?
Yeah, they both got famous doing horrible pranks to people on YouTube. Logan is actually worse, and the only reason I say that is because Logan went to Japan and he completely disrespected the people and the culture.
I agree.
But it went to another level when he went to
Question. That also means he disrespected the Reaper.
Yep.
Wow.
So
We're gonna get to that.
we're gonna get to that right now. So he went to the suicide forest, as it's colloquially only known, and was filming in there and came across a corpse of a man who had committed suicide, and filmed it and filmed himself kind of making fun of the guy and going through his pockets.
I saw
And
that.
he got a lot of backlash for it and took the video down, but I mean that's unforgivable, and that's the only reason that he's a bigger piece of crap than Jake, and the only reason that Jake is the second biggest piece of crap in that family, and probably one of the biggest piece of crap people in this country for sure. So when it comes to Jake though, because he's got this boxing career now, which is a joke. The guy has never fought an actual boxer, not once. And this one was even worse, I think, because people criticize Floyd Mayweather a lot for cherry picking his fights and picking guys that are past their prime and everything, right? And I get it. He's a businessman. He's in it to make money, and he makes lots of money and da 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 da. But I mean, Jake is like trying to take that playbook and run with it in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
I mean, the last guy he knocked out was a basketball player.
Yep.
And Ben Askren was an Olympic wrestler, and his base is grappling.
Yeah, he fought a
retired
MMA guy with no striking ability.
Yeah, he's like a 2 or 4 time champion in MMA, right? Retired from MMA and just got hip replacement surgery.
And also comes in known as the worst striker in MMA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's a wrestler.
One of the worst strikers.
He's a great wrestler.
A grappling base. He's a grappling base. So you're gonna sit there and pick the and there was a lot of guys in the UFC that have a better striking pedigree that were lining up trying to get him to fight him, since he wants to, like all these other boxers trying to keep their sport alive, talk smack about MMA fighters. He's gonna go and pick the guy with no striking really at all. And I mean, for Ben though, I mean, it was a good business move because that's probably the biggest payday he's ever had in his life.
Question.
How much did Ben get paid?
$500,000.
514, something like that.
Wow. Question. Dylan Dennis, is he a striker or a grappler?
I think he's mostly a striking base.
Okay.
But I mean, even that, dude, like they're like, yeah.
He wanted Jake in the worst way.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then, so that's the whole thing here too. That's kind of what makes, like, 2 things make Jake an even bigger piece of crap for doing that. So he picks the guy that clearly isn't really going to have a chance as being a striker. And you're taking away all of his best weapons and putting him in a boxing match. And then you're going to sit there and declare that he's representing the entire sport of MMA in the boxing world, which is not even close to a thing.
No.
You really can't do that way. You can go the other way because a boxer can represent boxing and MMA because it's MMA, right? That's how it started. It was everybody knew what they knew, and you went and you fought, right? They took anybody who raised their hands back in the old days of the UFC, right?
Yeah.
So, you could go and say you're representing boxing and MMA, but you can't represent MMA and boxing because boxing is one dimensional, whereas MMA is like 3 to 4 dimensional.
Absolutely.
And so he's up here, and Ben's like, no, that's what you said. I'm just here to, do this thing and kind of try this out and blah, blah, blah. And Jake's over here like, no, you're representing MMA. You're representing MMA. Like, okay, fine. So then when the ref doesn't even do an 8 count and calls it, Jake starts celebrating like he just beat Mike Tyson in his prime or something.
He's crying.
He was crying.
I can't believe it.
Crying and getting carried by his corner man. And he's like, oh my God. Like, bro, dude,
stop.
You know what? Don't. Like, why? You didn't beat anybody that deserves.
I've never seen a boxer cry.
You've been ducking everybody that you would have deserved to do that to if you won.
Absolutely. Your brother's gonna fight. Your brother's gonna fight Mayweather, which is a real fight.
Oh, was that Logan that wanted to fight Mayweather?
Gonna fight Mayweather, and he thinks he can.
Logan's gonna fight Mayweather. And
oh boy.
Yeah. I think that'll be funnier to watch than the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight.
I'll tune into that one.
At least McGregor tried. You know
Yeah, at least McGregor tried and actually almost had a chance. I mean, he actually rocked him a couple of times. Even Mayweather said he rocked me a couple of times.
Yeah, but Mayweather was smart. He just played the old defensive boxer, took his blows for a while, waited till McGregor got tired, and then that was it. You know,
That's how he made over $500 million.
Yeah,
That.
see, and that's the whole thing. There's no way Mayweather is going to take a dive. He pays other people to take dives, like Tenshin Nakashima. Yeah, I think it was Nakashima in Japan.
So that brings up.
Good
Do you
question.
think Askren took a dive?
No, I don't think Askren took a dive.
I don't think so
Jake,
either.
I think Jake paid the ref, is what I think, because there was no standing 8 count. He didn't even start the standing 8 count.
By the way, have you guys seen that Askren meme? It's him getting knocked out, and it was, I don't know from what movie or show it. He goes, "This is me." You may wonder
Yeah, I saw
how I
that.
got
I
here.
saw, like Saved by the Bell. No, not Saved by the Bell. What was that? But like,
I don't know what that was
been
from.
rocked so many times. The ref, if he watched some YouTube, would have gone, okay,
Yeah.
this guy, I'm going to give him a lot of leeway because this guy's been rocked silly more times than I can count. And,
Yeah.
And by the
got
way,
up, right?
his record is like what? How many losses?
got
did
up,
he
but
have?
he was wobbling.
Yeah.
I mean, he wobbled once when he
was.
stood up, but I mean, that's the whole thing, though. I mean,
He was kind
I don't even watch boxing. Even I know you're supposed to get a standing 8 count, right?
Well,
he didn't even the ref didn't even start a standing 8 count, and then Jake Paul's over here coming in, and the ref's not even paying attention to Ben at all. He's over here telling Paul to get back, and then he just calls the fight. Like,
You give Ben
I'm saying it was rigged.
yeah, I'm saying it was rigged, but I'm saying it was rigged because he paid the ref, not that Askren took a dive, because the ref just stopped it. That's not a dive.
I think they just told Askren to walk in there, take a punch, and go down, and you get paid.
But I don't think Askren would do that.
so.
You know,
I mean, it was a good punch. It was a solid punch, but
No, that guy can punch.
I mean, it was kind of a solid punch, but Askren
Yeah.
got right back up, and that's the whole thing that trips me out, is that the standing 8 count, there's supposed to be a standing 8 count, and he didn't even give him a standing 8 count before he called it.
well, you know, it was
start one.
It was a solid punch, but it was also poor defense. I mean,
Yeah,
Askren
I
didn't
mean,
know how to
Put a
defend himself. Yeah.
I find it really hard to believe that a guy that's an MMA fighter that trained
Yeah.
to fight
mean-
MMA wouldn't train in some regards to box properly.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, as
Yeah.
someone who trains boxing as an augment, it's not the same thing especially when you have another art as a base. It's really hard. Because you got to fight all your other trained instincts to do certain things.
I'm wondering if Ben counted on being knocked down and being able to get up and fight again and tire him out.
Yeah, I'm sure he was counting on the standing 8 count. I'm sure he was
The only thing
counting.
Ben was
I
counting
can
was
take
his
anything.
money. He didn't have to win that fight to get paid.
No, he didn't. But
That's the thing. I think you should make those fights. You only get paid if you win.
Oh, hold on.
would have got paid more if he won, because fights you do get a bigger purse.
Wait, hold on. Are we okay? We're good. Good thing that was in between. All right, I'm gonna go. Okay, we're good.
What happened?
Shinigami, do you like the way
Technical
that Jake?
difficulties?
What? Go ahead.
Technical difficulties over there?
Yeah, well, it's just like the Zoom. I don't know. It just stopped. But can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Shinigami, do you like the way that Ben Askren talks so honestly? Do you wish? I loved it. I think everybody loved it. Like, I think that's why everybody's glomming onto him, because he said, listen, if he's a good boxer, he'll beat me. I don't think he's a good boxer. And we can play that clip or whatever. But, you know, he just kind of tells it like it is. And I think people have been thirsting for that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Ben Askren. He seems like a genuine good guy, you know, and he was definitely very honest about it. And, you know, thing is, though, I still don't feel like Jake winning that the way it happened. I don't think that proves he's a good boxer at all. You know,
I'm waiting for him to actually fight a boxer.
Boxer.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, though. I think Jake is kind of going to keep on this path of cherry picking opponents he knows he can beat, to fluff up his record and brag about being a great boxer when he's not, and he never was. He'll never fight a real boxer, and he'll definitely never put his money where his mouth is and get in a cage with an MMA fighter and do some actual MMA.
Do you think that's all part of his strategy, is to be this person that everybody despises and then fork over the money in hopes that this is the time he gets knocked out? Like,
I don't think that's a strategy.
But everybody knows that, like, hatred is a stronger emotion. And like Bill was like, I'm thinking about getting that fight, and I was like, well, I have plans, but I might be able to cut. You know, like I'm in my mind, I'm like, I hate
you're
this
right.
guy so much that I will get in trouble with my wife just watch him get knocked out. And Bill pays for the fight, but like,
Ideally,
but like if that's his shtick, it works, and he's going to be very successful picking people that are just good enough that might be able to knock him out, but he's hedging his bets.
Oh no, he's not even picking people that I really have a chance of knocking him out. To be honest with you, and I don't think it's so much a strategy of being the guy that everybody hates. He's genuinely a piece of crap. I think it is the only strategy is he knows that he's a piece of crap. He knows people hate him because he's a piece of crap, and he's going to try to capitalize on that. Though, like you're saying, just because he knows people hate him, and you're right, people want to see him lose. But that's why he's going to try to, pick guys that maybe on paper sound like they could beat him. But he's never going to fight anyone that he thinks he's actually going to lose to. He never would. He's got too much of an ego for that.
That's what I want to do. I want Shinigami. Would you fight? Would you fight him? Would you fight Jake Paul?
I will fight Jake Paul for free and his brother at the same time. I don't care.
Oh man,
I don't care. Make it at least kickboxing, if not MMA, even better. But I would fight both of them at the same time for free, be it street beefs, anywhere for free.
I said boxing.
I would not box because I can admit right now that I am so bad at straight boxing by itself that even if I thought because I could probably knock him out. I have the power to do it.
Yeah.
And I definitely probably have better boxing defense than Ben Askren displayed there, but I don't want to risk it. I know for a fact that is my weakest thing. So like I said, at least kickboxing, I at least got to be able to kick the guy.
Let me ask you this, right? You're in a bar, right? Did you see that video of the wrestlers that it turned on? No, I don't know the exact background, but Andy, you must have seen this too.
What?
The little curly-haired wrestler guy, we're gonna play it right now because I don't know. And he had like a bloody nose, and it was like a college quarterback. Andy, I know you know this story, right?
Oklahoma
college quarterback.
Oklahoma.
Oh, it was an Oklahoma wide receiver.
Yeah. That was the fight. Yeah, that was a thing that Pat McAfee was talking about the day before he saw my fight, where he was like, it used to be if you were with the karate guy back in the day, it used to be all right, but now these MMA guys. Look at this, man. Now you got to look out for the guys with the cauliflower ear.
Dude.
Yeah.
Did you see that? He wipes his nose, which I agree. His nose was bloody already. So he must have gotten punched or something. And then just him and his brother in the ultimate unexpected fucking, what did we get into? Just get, that silly strength that wrestlers have that you're just like, what did I do?
Listen, I just felt bad they were rolling around on the bathroom floor.
Yeah,
that's nasty.
Germs though.
Somebody get hepatitis C.
What though? That's the reality of street fighting though, man. When it's go time, is go time. I don't care if you're in the bathroom, the back alley, the middle of the street, the sidewalk. One of those trampoline gyms. Wherever you're at, dude,
wherever you are.
You got bigger problems to worry about than the germs on the floor once.
You're not thinking about that at all.
Also, a good lesson to take away from that is make sure you learn jiu-jitsu in the gi instead of just doing 10th planet no gi, because the guy tried to start a lapel choke, but he didn't quite have it. It looked like he didn't really know how to do it.
Yeah.
Public service announcement.
That fight right there is why it's so important to learn full jiu-jitsu in a full gi. Because let me tell you something, if I am in a self-defense situation and I feel like that's about the only level I need to take it to is choking the guy out to stop the fight, and I get a back take like that, and he's got a jacket or something, it's going to be a lapel choke, and it's going to be in and it's going to be over very, very quick.
Hey, real quick, let's get back to you versus Jake Paul. How do we make that fight happen?
I don't know. I don't
think Craft Beer Review. We're going to be your corner men, and we're going to get the greatest fight that people don't even know they want to happen on the interweb.
He will not. I don't think he will.
He won't take it.
Yeah, two things. One, he has to agree to at least kickboxing at a minimum.
Yeah, which would be is a good compromise.
What if you?
I feel like that's I definitely feel like kickboxing is a good compromise. Because I really don't think I need jiu-jitsu to beat him for sure. Kickboxing for sure is a good compromise, and I don't know if he'd have the balls to do it. He doesn't want the smoke from a real fighter of any kind. He doesn't want smoke from a real boxer. You don't want smoke from a kickboxer.
What if we can get him to agree to a boxing match first, followed by a kickboxing match. So like he would box you in your first
round,
fight,
one round.
and then second fight,
No, just a second fight.
yeah, and then the second fight is all bets are off. It's
Well, no, because then if we're gonna do that, we might as well do a best 2 out of 3 and do boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. Make it a trilogy.
Yeah, best 2 out of 3.
Oh, and get him in the octagon.
yeah,
Yep.
get him around them hay bales.
But I don't think he'd want that smoke.
No, he wants to be comfortable, right? He wants to be
Because I'll tell you
comfortable.
right now, even though boxing is my weakest aspect of my game because I'm so used to kicking and longer range fighting, I'm used to one of two things. I'm either going to stay at the range I feel comfortable with, or I'm going to close the distance and grapple you up. So boxing is kind of that pocket range I don't like to be in. But I tell you what, if I did do a boxing match with them, I would go in there and I would be trying to put the hurt on them anyway.
Just
Well,
haymakers.
I
Just
don't-
haymakers.
I think you'd be fine. I really do. And Bill, we got to put together a hype video for Shinigami challenging
I would buy
Jake
it.
Paul.
I mean, I do got a little bit of head movement.
Look at
and you know,
Shinigami,
Got it.
a quick question for you. Pat McAfee, who's a fan, has gone to the WWE as a commentator, right? The phone rings, right? It's Pat McAfee. Says, "Hey, I got an angle. You're going to go up against who's in the WWE. I don't care who it is. Do you watch them right now? Would you do it? Would you go to the WWE?"
of course, that's a pretty big paycheck.
Huge paycheck.
I think people would tune in. Like, who is this guy? He's got. What would your finisher be? Would it be the head kick, or do you have a finisher in
Yeah,
mind?
it's got to be the head kick.
I would have the head kick, or see, I know Brock Lesnar does the Kimura already.
Cut the
You know what?
Hajime.
I have this.
Cut the
ability
Hajime. Go
crazy-
ahead.
I got the ability to do a crazy armbar from angles you really shouldn't be able to do them from
Yes.
because I
Yes.
understand the leverage
Two
point.
finishers.
So it would be a really weird armbar angle, but it would be an armbar finish.
You know what? The head kick, much like the Randy Orton's whatever he does, could come out of nowhere. Head kick out of nowhere. We make memes about it.
Oh yeah, the RKO.
Yeah, the RKO out of nowhere.
Yeah, man, I'd be King Karate. I'd come out Shinigami King Karate. I'd come out and I'd be like Kung Fu Naki, except I wouldn't suck.
I'd tune in. I'd watch that.
I don't know. I don't know if that puts a really if people really understand how old that makes me making that reference because I don't know if anyone remembers Kung Fu Naki from the 90s.
No.
No, I don't.
Do we, Bill, you got to do 2 videos. One, Shinigami versus Jake Paul. The second one is pitching Shinigami to Pat McAfee for the WWE.
Yes, let's get him. Let's
There
get
we
him.
go. Hey, I'll do it, man. I'll do it.
Dude, I think you can come. You know how, like, who was it? Tank Abbott? You guys remember?
Yeah.
Do the punch. Speaking of, listen, I mentioned you to my my brother-in-law knows about you, right? And I mentioned it to you. I was like, what should I ask about? He's like, hey, what does he think he would do? How does he think he would do in the first UFC? And I went, you know what? You don't have much great to say, but that's a good question. Like, if Shinigami was in UFC 1, of course we got Hoist Gracie.
Like Dan the Beast?
I think
Or
he'd
Tank
do all
Abbott?
right. I think he would do. I think people would be like, "Who's this dude?" And then you would just head kick like 3 dudes in a row, and then you would be in the final.
Oh yeah, I think I would definitely have made a. I think that granted, okay, I'm a mixed martial artist in the more modern sense, so that kind of gives me an advantage to begin with.
Absolutely.
I think I would have changed the course of the first UFC a bit. I mean, you know,
I wish.
I probably would have been the guy that went to the finals with Hoist instead of
Gi on gi. Can you imagine?
Look, I'm
Yeah, that
telling you, Shinigami
Who was
would
it?
be in the UFC Hall of Fame.
Who
Yeah.
was in the final? Was it like Oleg Tektarov or somewhere?
no. UFC 1, I think, was Ken Shamrock. I think that was it was either the
Versus
semifinal
Hoist.
or the final.
And as you guys know, Shinigami, you know, the Hoist was like the least of the Gracies, right?
Right. That's
Oh,
why
was he? He was the least
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
wow.
why they put him in there. He was the smallest one. He'd never done anything like that.
But
at
Hoist
all.
in there,
Oh.
he'll beat them all. That's what they
I
He
thought he
done
was this
some-
legend.
He'd done some like grappling tournaments and stuff, but he'd never done full contact fighting like that before UFC
Royson,
1.
right? Royson Gracie was maybe the best.
Hoist. Oh, you mean Hickson?
Hickson. I think there was a Royson too. I don't know, but
Who was
No.
who was Renzo?
There was Hickson,
Cousin. No.
Horian, Hoyler, Hoist, and like 2 other. I can't remember if Henzo was one of their brothers or their cousin.
There was, yeah, I think, okay.
there was like 7 Gracie sons that Helio had, and Hoist was the lightest, smallest.
He was little. He was definitely little.
Yeah, it was like 180 something pounds, 86 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, at the time. So I definitely think that I would have had more of an advantage than anybody who fought in the first couple of UFCs did.
I think you would have done great. I really do.
There's still a pretty good chance though that I might have lost the Hoist, because rolling with the jiu-jitsu black belt, even a first-degree black belt, is an entirely different feeling than.
Well, you know, but nothing to be ashamed about. I think you would have been.
Oh yeah, no, it would definitely be an honor to lose to somebody like Hoist Gracie. But I mean, because he was like a 4th degree black belt, 3rd or 4th degree black belt when he did UFC 1, and even my jiu-jitsu professor, he's just like you know, first whatever black belt. I think in jiu-jitsu you don't have a stripe on your black belt when you first get it. It's just the ranking sleeve. Because the way it works is all of the founders, the 3 founding members of 2 or 3 founding members of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu were the only ones that had 10th degree red belts, and they all died before anybody got promoted to 10th underneath them. So 10th is reserved for the founders, but
yeah, because nobody can teach.
So I think they start you at like 0 degrees on your black belt in jiu-jitsu, so that you still technically kind of get 10 degrees when you get that 9th and earn your red belt. But I mean, that's a whole nother rabbit hole we could go down. I could talk about the history of the ranking system across martial arts for hours.
I gotta be also on Shinigami.
Is Brent coming back?
No, not Brent.
He's not coming back.
I think he's out in the car listening to the Rembrandts or something.
Yeah, I'll go get Johnny Budcan Miller to kind of like offset him. There it is. Look, there it is. That's the best $10 I ever spent, Shinigami.
Yeah, that's definitely. So you guys are smart. You guys made characters it doesn't take an hour to get ready for.
you just make it like one of those filters, so you can just do like a Snapchat filter, and it just looks like you have your makeup on. It's not the same. It's not the same. Hey, so when you were at the Streetbeefs fight in Virginia, I gotta think that do people fight in the stands? Because like there's a lot of energy and a lot of emotion with people fighting. I mean, do people any fisticuffs on the sides?
No.
Anything crazy happen?
Nope.
Is that big smile guy from Virginia?
Yeah,
Yep.
he is from Virginia.
He's the East Coast champ. That's why it was like a mega fight. It was the West Coast champ heavyweight versus the East Coast champ super heavyweight. So yeah, it was that was wild, man. That whole experience was crazy. I expected a lot. I mean, I didn't expect to be like in enemy territory, like hostility type stuff, but I kind of expected people to kind of wait till after the fight to start, you know, coming up to me and talking to me. But as soon as I put the gi top on and everyone started recognizing me, man, everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's Shinigami! He's really here!"
Yes.
Dude, you were I'm watching the live stream.
The girl.
Yeah, and these people, everybody's asking about Shinigami, and they're asking about Rachel.
He's here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Rachel and my daughter were in the live stream chat.
Mm.
Yes, I saw that. I said, "You think this is Rachel?" I saw that.
Yeah.
People were asking, "Is this the Rachel?"
Yep.
Yeah, they were pumped up, man. It was crazy. Like, how has your life been? Like, I know you got recognized when we talked to you last. When you walk around the street, like, how could you not be recognized? I know you get recognized, right?
It's weird because sometimes it happens. I just actually did security at a jiu-jitsu tournament, a kids jiu-jitsu tournament, and one person actively recognized me, and a few other people that I talked to thought they'd recognize me, but they weren't sure. And then I showed them the thing, and I was like, "Yeah, that's me." In fact, one guy kept trying to, because I had to keep everybody that didn't have a silver or a orange wristband out of the competition area.
Mm-hmm.
All the green band spectators had to stay on the other side of the little fence, and everybody thought they were special because their kid was sitting over here.
Yeah.
So this guy was like, "Yeah, I was like, dude, your kid's right there. Wave him over to you." You know, and he's like, "No, I'm just gonna." We were joking around. He tried to do like a little quick dash move, and I kind of did one. Got in front. I was like, "Oh, so you're a ninja too?" I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm a first degree black belt in karate and a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and actually I'm kind of famous." So I pulled up the little thumbnail of the video, and he was like, "Oh man, that's you." I was like, "Yep, that's me." He's like, "Yeah." That was cool. The first guy who recognized me, that was like, "Hey man, you're Shinigami, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yep." kind of just sitting there. I'm
Yeah.
wearing like a security
something.
polo with a mask on my face, you know. And he's like, "Oh man, my kids love you, dude. Can they come say hi?" I was like, "Yeah, of course."
Have you signed any autographs?
I've signed a few autographs.
That's got to be weird.
It is weird. But I'm getting, you know what? I got to get used
Sign
to
your
it.
real name.
Most of the time I just sign Shinigami. Some people get autographs there with my real name on it though. Fair Play back from the East Coast. I sent them one of my A5 jiu-jitsu
Play.
big on me.
Yeah.
And I autographed it, autographed the top, the pants, the gi bag. He's actually coming out to fight in the West Coast this Friday. And
That guy
I'm
loves to fight.
actually gonna corner for him.
He loves to
Oh, that's
fight,
awesome.
doesn't he?
Oh yeah,
I
dude,
think-
dude. That dude is such a character too, man. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a nice guy, but I love the fact that he wears a gi. And I even asked him. He was like, I was like, I'm not trying to be conceited or anything, but I just got to know. Do you wear the gi because you saw me wear the gi first? He was like, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I have to say, and not to like I think you're whatever. I think you're being you, and that captures people, right? People go, okay, I like this guy. He's just doing himself, and it's resonating. You feel that way?
Yeah, I think that's the case. I mean, one of my friends said it too. Filthy Phil was like,
Filthy
man,
Phil!
we were talking after class one day, and he's like, yeah, man, it's just like, it's the cool thing about you is like when you're on these interviews and everything, it's you're like the same exact person as when you're here talking to me, like always.
Yeah.
You know, you're just you, and it's great. You're so genuine out there, and I'm like, I mean, well, what else am I supposed to be?
Just be you, man. People like genuine.
Yeah,
That's why they don't like Brent, because they feel like Brent's just faking.
Oh, come on,
real
guys.
is not real,
You
right?
guys talk about Brent. Come on,
Brent's
he's old news.
not genuine, man.
I mean,
You think?
I don't know. I think you got to be pretty genuine to admit you like the Rembrandts.
The Rembrandts. Did he say that?
Just
Yep.
saying. He's just saying.
Yeah, he likes the Rembrandts.
No. Come on.
That's
Guys,
what he told us before he left, man. I'm
I mean,
telling
he
you.
does, but he said that.
Yeah, he openly said it.
Oh my God. All right. Listen, I got something here for Shinigami. I have some tweets from you,
Ah.
Shinigami.
Are you gonna leave your hair on the on the
Yeah, you
show?
gotta fix that hair, Bill.
Guys, I'm balding. I don't, you know, it's a
There's
thing.
balding, and then what is that?
Wait,
thing? It looks like
listen.
he's got a
I
rat
didn't
tail.
sign up to bald. Look at my brother. He's bald. He's really bald.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah. Could any of you guys tell that I'm balding?
No, I don't know. I didn't
No,
even notice
man.
it
Like
till
if I
you
get
said it.
just the
Dude,
right angle.
you got nicer hair than me. Like,
All right.
Hey,
I
Bill,
brought
it
up.
looks like you have a rat tail on the front of your head. What is that called?
Dude, my
Oh,
hair is
third,
terrible.
yeah, that
I have
thing, whatever
terrible
that is.
hair.
It's an
Why do you
otter
think you
tail.
see me in a hat? And Brent has the same hair. Ask him.
Poor Brent.
ask him about it.
Ask him. So Shinigami, what happened?
Yeah.
You see this? What happened at the Circus? Do not
Okay,
ever
so-
stay at the Circus in Las Vegas. Horrible customer service.
absolutely horrible customer service.
Uh-oh.
Like I get there's things going on because of the pandemic and everything, you know, but the last time I went in November to Vegas and I stayed at the Strat, they still had valet service and they still had bellhops. And so we roll up and no bellhop, no valet. Had to self-park. And then you go in and we went in and there was a line. It was so long that it went from the front desk all the way to the very back of the casino. I don't know if
During this time,
anybody
how
who's
many
been.
people were even there to stay in? It's like it's
I
gotta
don't
be a
know.
lot less,
I
right?
couldn't tell you. I'll tell you this: we were in line for over 3 hours to
Oh.
check in, just to check in. Okay, and
What?
I don't know if for anybody who's ever been to Circus, I'm sure you guys know there's the Slots of Fun casino right next to it on the Las Vegas Boulevard side. And so the check-in is all the way on the other side, way on the other side. We got in line and we were literally right next to the door that said Slots of Fun right out here. Right under where the actual circus stuff is, where the midway is. And we were in line for 3 hours.
Oh,
And then they wouldn't comp anything. They wouldn't discount the room. They wouldn't do nothing to make up for it, right? At all. And then it was terrible from there. We got to our room. There was no
3 hours.
3 hours.
Did you head kick anybody?
I wanted to, but then I didn't want to lose my deposit for getting kicked out and it's still having to pay for the.
That's got to be weird. Like me, like if I see somebody being a jerk, like I think I could head kick them, but I know it wouldn't knock them out. It would just kind of piss them off. You're like, I could just knock you out.
I wanted to give the entire staff behind the counter and the security guards a good lesson, good martial arts lesson.
A good head.
But that's not what martial arts is about. It's, this isn't Cobra Kai, so I wasn't going to do that.
Absolutely. I have another one here that I kind of struck a chord with me. I truly feel like if people were more objective, they'd realize that Nintendo hasn't made good consoles since GameCube and hasn't made a truly good Mario game since SNES. Did you not play Super Mario 64?
That was like the second turnoff for, actually I should say that was the third turnoff Mario game for me. No fireballs, no Tanuki tails, no capes, nothing.
All right. You know what? You're almost convincing me because I mean my favorite. Go ahead, Andy.
I didn't say anything.
I was gonna say Super Mario 3.
Super Mario 3 was amazing.
But he said SNES, so I assume.
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, that 1 through 3 were on the NES, and then.
What's your favorite?
I do like Super Mario 2 as well.
World?
Because it was a little different.
You know the history of Super Mario 2 that we got.
It's a different game.
Yeah, it was a reskin of Doki Doki Panic.
I was gonna say Taki Taki. Yeah, Doki Doki. It was just a complete redo.
You just ruined my childhood. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Shinigami.
We didn't actually get the real Super Mario Brothers 2 over here until they released Super Mario All Stars on the SNES. The Lost Levels. They called it the Lost Levels.
We gotta talk about video games.
Super Mario 3. They had the game The Wizard out, like hyping it up. Remember that?
Yeah,
the Wizard was a
Hour Glove. I think
hour and a half long Nintendo commercial.
Yeah, with Fred Savage.
And then back then that was when you had video stores, right? So I remember Super Mario 3, of course, the video store, they wouldn't think to get 2 copies so they could maximize their profit. They had 1 copy of Super Mario 3, and before you actually owned it, you had to go down there, rush down, and hope that it was there.
Yeah.
Or call them like 5,700 times to say.
Oh man, you gave me so much nostalgia.
I got a question, Shinigami. Does your game knowledge go like way back?
Pretty far back.
Do you know either the code to fight Mike Tyson in Mike Tyson's Punch Out, or the code for 20 lives in Contra?
The Konami code: up, up, down, down, left, right, A, B, start.
Is that what it is, Bill? A, B, start?
Or select 2 players, like select start. That's 2 players, right?
Well, which one was, and what's the Akari Warriors code?
Up, up.
Isn't it so?
AABBA.
Oh, AABBA.
That's real.
What was the Mike Tyson code? I forget what
I don't remember that one.
Listen,
I think you had to punch in
only super. It's only in the Library of Congress, but I'll give you a little clue. It's 007-373-5963. Boom, 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 boom. You're fighting Mike Tyson. Hey, listen, when you're dodging, there's a hard dodge and there's a soft dodge. Dodge soft, dodge soft. That's what you need to do. Get out of it. Listen, what most people don't know about Punch Out is you can dodge. It's slow, right? You dodge out of the way, you come back, or quick dodge. Okay. It'll change your life. Don't hold left. Press left.
Shinigami, take those tips, write them down because you're going to need them for the Jake Paul fight that we're going to set up.
Oh yeah, no, I already remember all that stuff, dude. Actually, that would probably be part of my training for that. Would be playing some Punch Out just to
quick dodging.
Get the
Jake Paul's favorite person to fight in Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Bill, go.
Glass Joe.
Easiest. Favorite? Well, King Hippo was kind of easy because you knew you were going to beat him once you knew, right? It was like,
yeah. You know the guy I hated the most? Was it Don Flamenco, the guy that would punch the rose?
Yeah.
I hated that guy.
Yeah, he's like, you couldn't figure out. He was like, it felt like everybody had a pattern, but he didn't. He was like random, right? It's like, when are you going to let me punch you? And he had a rose in his mouth.
You had to block. You had to block him when he came in, and then when he couldn't land his punch, once he caught you, then you were stunned, and then he would just knock you out.
So back to my tweet though. We got really sidetracked. Let me explain the tweet.
Yeah.
So
I wish you would.
I'm not really that big of an RPG guy. The only RPG I ever really liked were like Mother 3 and Chrono Trigger, and I guess Pokemon technically sort of is, even though it sort of isn't. So my gauge for that was actually the first thing that was really like the first nail in the coffin of the Mario games for me was Super Mario RPG. That's where it started to go downhill. I think there's a point where you can have like a kart racing game and your franchise is fine, but then once you start doing stuff like RPGs or 3D games that depart so drastically from the core original, like if we look at his longtime rival Sonic the Hedgehog's games, they were consistent. They were consistently good.
Sure. Same power,
even Sonic
too, right?
Adventure. I mean, people kind of give the first couple of the Sonic Adventure games crap now, but if you really think about it, they're really not that bad at all. The first one was actually a really good attempt at going 3D and still keeping that old school Sonic feel. Where you can
Yeah,
still
I remember
spin
that. Yeah.
You know, Sonic didn't really go downhill, even as bad as people say Sonic 2006 was, until they came out with that Sonic RPG, and then they haven't made a good game since then at all. Sonic Forces was terrible. It's kind of telling that the first good Sonic game that sold well in decades was Sonic Mania, which returned to Sonic's roots and was actually made by.
I bought that. Yeah, I bought that. Sonic Mania.
I got the Sonic the Hedgehog thing.
Son, though, he doesn't want to play it. I don't know why. Sorry, go ahead.
So I bought the actual physical limited edition like collector set when it came out. I mean, the copy of the game was digital, but I got the Sega statue with Sonic the Hedgehog on it. You put the batteries in, you turn on, and it does the old Sega thing. And the collector's box, I got all that. I even got an old Shadow the Hedgehog thing I got at the fair once. So I'm a huge Sonic fan, but Mario started to go downhill way before that, and in Sonic 64 was just like that wasn't even a Mario game. That was some weird running around.
Mario 64? Well, you're right. I mean, if you're right, like it didn't. What made it a Mario game? I couldn't tell you. You're right. I mean, I've never heard.
The only thing that made it a Mario game was the skins. You had Mario and you had Goombas, and that was about it.
Well, listen. Are you can we agree on Super Mario World is the best Mario?
Yeah, I was about to say the toss up. It's kind of, for me, it's a toss up between 3 and World, because those were very excellent games. World had a lot more to unlock. I do wish they would have kept.
But 3 I do much earlier. 3 blew like people's minds, I feel like, right?
Yeah, it definitely did. And I wish they would have kept more of the power-ups from 3 in World. I don't think. Yeah, I don't really think there was an excuse not to, really. I think they could have kept like the frog suit and the Tanuki suit.
All right.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go. So on your Twitter, I've noticed a similar thread of Godzilla. You're a big Godzilla guy?
Oh yeah.
From like original, like back when it was stop motion.
Bro, Godzilla was never stop motion. But yeah, I've been watching Godzilla movies since I was real little. They used to have this thing called Monster Piece Theater on TV on the weekends when I was a kid, and they would show the Showa era films every week. So I got to watch most of those on TV growing up. We'd watch that every week, and then like I can't remember if the Addams Family came on before that or after, but it was like Addams Family Monster Piece Theater every Saturday night that we'd watch when I was little. I actually just bought with one of my unemployment checks last year. I ended up buying the Criterion Collection Showa era set for like $125. So I have all 15 of the original Godzilla movies from the original run.
Damn,
and then on Blu-ray I have
super fan.
On Blu-ray I have almost the entire Heisei collection. And I've seen literally every single Godzilla movie at least 3 times.
What's perfect? If you could listen, they gets to direct a Godzilla movie. Who do you bring in? Is it Mothra? Do you know like a deep cut character to bring in? Are you the Jon Favreau of Godzilla movies? Could you be?
Oof. Okay, so if I was to make a Godzilla movie, that would be my ideal Godzilla movie. It would probably be, actually, I wouldn't mind getting to direct a MonsterVerse movie, because I like the legendary Godzilla.
I know you want the MonsterVerse. Who else is in the MonsterVerse? After this,
so we definitely need to bring Mothra back. They need to do more with Mothra.
Sure.
And Rodan probably too. I'd bring them back. I would definitely have to do Destroya, and Gigan would have to be in it. So you'd have to have Gigan and Destroya. It would be like a 3-hour long movie. It would be epic. There'd be tons of monster action, and maybe even bring in Space Godzilla or Biollante, because those need to be in a movie. They need to be in a MonsterVerse movie. Those are three of the more overlooked and underappreciated. Well, Destroyer is kind of not underappreciated, but I mean, there's monsters from the Showa era that keep coming back: Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah. But you know, we definitely need to have Destroyer in one of these movies. I think I would, you know, try to find some way to make Gamera versus Godzilla happen in the movie. So it would kind of be like Godzilla versus Kong, where they're fighting each other and then they kind of have to team up at the end. But it would be, I think it would be an epic clash of two of the most famous kaiju of all time. And then we'd go into, you know, Destroyer shows up, because they did use the Oxygen Destroyer in King of the Monsters. You know, Destroyer shows up. Godzilla fights very close to a stalemate. Gamera has to swoop in and help out. Gigan shows up. Mothra comes in to help out after that. Rodan's got to show up too, because Gigan is a pretty powerful monster, even though he always gets whooped. He's actually kind of really like just a sick monster. You think about it, it's got the hook things, he's got the buzzsaw in his chest, shoots lasers from his eyes and can fly. I mean, it's like a cyborg chicken from outer space. How do you go wrong with that?
Do you think any of the like the newer Godzilla movies got it right?
Godzilla versus Kong, I think probably is the most well done one, because it's a good balance of that modern legendary CGI, current technology, big budget thing. And yeah, you know, people complain about the plot being flimsy, but that was a very, you know, throwbacky Showa era plot. It was just enough to make the action happen, move it along.
Sure, and that's what you need sometimes. I feel like that's what sometimes movies get too convoluted. Do you feel like King Kong, I read this online, I read a lot online, was too big, or do you feel like he was fine? Was he?
No, he was fine. He was definitely fine.
Is he the same size as Godzilla, like in canon?
Almost. He's about 50 feet shorter.
Okay, there you go. There it is from Shinigami.
But yeah, no, I think it was well done. I think it was a much needed update. I know I've been waiting for it since I was younger. And it's actually funny you mentioned video stores earlier, because that's actually relevant to this. I used to rent videos from video stores all the time, and I'd go to like video stores where you could buy videos just to window shop. And there was this thing, because all the Godzilla movies from the Showa era, or all of them really, are all licensed for release in America to different little distribution companies. And a couple of them did the most dishonest, false advertising thing ever, where they took the Godzilla head from Godzilla in 1985 and put it on the cover of Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla, with the King Kong head from the 1976 really? King Kong.
Okay.
Right? On the cover. So it looked like they'd made an updated early 90s remake, which we'd all wanted anyway, right? And then you buy it, or you'd rent it and you take it home and you throw it in, and it'd be the 1962 one that we've already seen like a gajillion times. Shame on those guys.
Shame.
And even to this day, as much as I love Godzilla versus Kong with the CGI, I still would have loved to see a Heisei era Godzilla versus Kong with those suitmation effects that they had then. Because I honestly think that those were the best suitmation effects in all of Godzilla history, was the Heisei period. All the 90s movies were amazing. I still look, those to me hold up the best to this day.
So me watching Pacific Rim, I kind of was, it wasn't in my wheelhouse. Did you love Pacific Rim?
The first Pacific Rim was awesome, but that was definitely a very niche targeted movie. That was a love letter to the old kaiju movies, and like Ultraman and Gundam, and just like the super robots, like you know, Getter Robo and Daikaiser.
I'm so lost right now.
Yeah, Daikaiser. Like, what? This guy, like,
see, now we're in nerd territory. You had to be like a 90s like anime.
Yeah, I'm impressed, dude. You're
nerd,
going
bro.
deep.
you know, I would go into one room and Brent would be watching National Geographic. And then I go in the other room and Andy was just kind of just laying there. What did you do? I don't even know what you like.
What did I like?
What do you like?
I don't think I was a big TV guy.
You were.
I was laying there watching Sports Center, and Or MTV. I was watching MTV videos.
Do you like the red
No,
man?
see, I grew up
All
on
right.
a lot of different stuff. When I was a little kid, most of the movies I watched, I was one of those kids that was obsessed with dinosaurs. So anything with a giant monster that looked even remotely like a dinosaur, man.
What happens if this guy gets into a real fight with Tyrone Woodley? What would happen? Tell us.
Tyron Woodley would probably kick his legs out from under him, then ground and pound him into a pulp.
So what about straight boxing? Who do you have?
Honestly, Tyron Woodley's got some hands. I think Tyron Woodley would give him the business in boxing too. You know, he's probably one of the better strikers in his division. You know, period, for sure. I definitely also think that, you know, the Diaz brothers would probably work Jake Paul too with the hands.
Oh, I love
read
those
that
guys.
They wanted to do
I
that.
love those guys.
But see, he don't want none of that smoke because he wants to come out with this padded record looking like he's better than he is when he's not.
Shinigami, where has Nick Diaz been?
I don't know, probably smoking weed in Stockton
Just waiting.
and
Stockton
training,
slap.
dude. Just waiting, man. Because I know he was like on suspension for weed positivity or something in his system.
If
Which
you
is-
had the ability to put one obviously not a professional boxer, MMA person against Jake Paul, not a boxer, like who would have the best chance if it was close in weight? Like, would it be
Like somebody
Conor?
famous?
Who would it be?
Me, I want to fight Jake Paul.
You're gonna
Justin
get your ass
Poirier?
knocked out.
Me.
Dustin Poirier, I think probably Dustin Poirier
There you
or
go.
the Diaz brothers.
Dead to me
It would
now.
have to be one of them, man.
Yeah.
Because those guys all have like a good
Or-
boxing base, and they could throw the hands with him.
Yeah, I mean, he even said like in the highlights, like, listen, Jake, I know you wanted this easier guy, but he couldn't do it. So you got me. And he goes, no, he said no. And Ben's like, I'll play it so you can see what the reference is. Jake goes, no, he said no. And Ben's like, yeah, I know. That's why you have me. You know, Jake, like when you're looking for the low-hanging fruit, you don't cry, right? You don't. Floyd Mayweather or Roy Jones never cried when they beat a really actually tough competitor. And this guy's crying. I don't think it was set up. I think Ben Askren was picked for a reason. And I think he didn't perform. I think Jake Paul can punch. But I think like you don't cry if it's set up. What do you think, Shinigami? Do you cry if it's set up?
You know what? You know, even if he didn't directly set it up, his dad's got a lot of money.
It could have
You never
been
know,
like-
his dad might have done it on the low with the
That
ref.
could have been the other possibility, like they called Ben Askren separate.
But I mean, I still think it's like you know, either way, I think that it's just whether or not somebody paid the ref off to call it, because that was fishy. That whole thing with the ref was fishy. But let's ignore that for a second. Even if it was a legitimate win, you didn't beat anybody to deserve to, you know,
Cry?
celebrate the way you were celebrating.
No,
Like,
no.
but
Yeah, I'm
you
agreeing.
didn't. You didn't have a challenge. You got a guy who was retired, who wasn't a boxing base, who had just gotten hip replacement surgery and came in with a dad bod
Billy Care.
that almost rivals my own.
Hey, if he wants to fight somebody with a dad bod, sign me up. I'll box him.
Because
You gonna fight him?
and that's the
Yeah,
thing.
why not?
I
Or if
won't
you're
do
not
it for
expected
free.
to win, why
And
And
not?
that's the
play?
thing. You can really break it down like this, okay? Jake Paul was there to look good. Ben Askren was there to get the biggest paycheck of his life.
Yeah.
He was going to get paid better than he ever has, whether he won or lost.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
crazy.
That's not to say that he took a dive, because I don't think he did. He got up and he was still ready to go.
Yeah,
But
He
that's the-
lost. He
He
lost, but he really didn't lose. He won
he-
$500,000.
For him, it was win-win either way.
Sometimes
Jake Paul's
you can
already
lose
got
and
money.
win.
He wasn't getting anything but glory and clout. So now he gets to brag about, well, I beat a 2-time or 4-time MMA champion, because I know he was a 2-time champion and won, but I can't remember if he had any other titles. I think he did, because I've seen a picture of him with 4 belts. So he's like a 4-time MMA champion, you know, Olympic wrestler, da-da-da. So now he's got this, yeah, you got bragging rights, but do you really got bragging rights? Like, why are you going to brag about that? All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm famous for beating Detail, but you don't hear me bragging about beating Detail. Like, I'm not sitting there. Like, even when I beat Detail, I didn't jump around and celebrate or anything. I walked back over to my corner, waited for the end of the result, official, you know, declaration of whoever won, and that was it. In fact, I don't do that with any of my fights. You don't see me hopping on the cage and doing all this
Right.
crazy stuff. Like, you gotta be humble when you win, and you gotta be even more humble when you beat somebody that you should be able to beat. No problem.
Well, Jake Paul was expected to win.
Exactly.
don't-
Exactly.
mean-
Everybody expected you to win.
Listen,
You were a minus 158 whatever on the betting chart, favorite. Why are you gonna cry and get picked
Right.
up by your corner and
Cry,
jump
yeah.
throw your hands up dude, what are you crying about? What are you crying about?
You picked him. You selected.
right.
You made
Like,
it.
Real quick.
Baseball.
Real
Baseball.
quick. Oh, yeah, we'll get to baseball, but real quick, Shinigami, we're gonna telecast this to Jake Paul. What is your 30-second message to Jake Paul? You're talking to Jake Paul right now. He's on
Jake
the-
Paul. Jake Paul, you cowardly piece of crap clown. Either fight a real boxer, fight an MMA fighter in an MMA fight, which would be something to brag about. You'd be the first boxer to step into an MMA ring since Art Jimerson, even though, well, maybe not the first, but you'd be the first one in a long time since Art Jimerson or James Toney. And I'd love to see you do it, but you won't because you just want to look good. Tell you what, you want to look really good. How about you fight me? I'll kickbox you. I'll box you. I'll fight you for free in street beefs, boxing, kickboxing, or MMA, or we can do a trilogy. I don't care. That's not bad. I want to beat you. I don't want to get paid. I just want to beat you. And I'll beat your brother too. You and your brother at the same time if I have to. I'll do a freak show fight like that because you clowns need to get hurt. I'll give you something to really cry about, and so would any other real boxer, real MMA fighter. That's why you don't want that smoke. That's why you keep cherry picking guys who ain't boxers at all. Fight a real boxer, then get back to us. Then you can celebrate or cry or both, whatever one. But I guarantee you a real fighter, a real boxer in their prime is going to give you something to cry about for real.
Oh, I'm so pumped up. Let's go. Jake Paul, you got nothing.
Yeah. How about a prediction?
Woo!
Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather in 3 words. What's the prediction?
Logan Paul gets smoked. I give it 1 or 2 rounds, dude.
1 or 2 rounds.
I don't know. It'd be boring. Mayweather might just keep him in and just pick them apart.
I don't think it would be boring. I think people want to see those pieces of crap get beat quick. I mean,
I'd watch.
yeah,
I would watch.
I mean, yeah, Mayweather might do what he does to
That's the hook, boys.
Tag
They
him up
make
a bit,
you watch.
but honestly, I feel like Floyd Mayweather would be doing the world a gigantic service by putting Logan Paul away as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Listen, Shinigami, here's what when I watch Jake Paul, here's what I know. Life is going to humble him so much once he's like not Jake Paul anymore that we don't even need to worry about it.
He's going to be not Jake Paul?
Yeah, one day he's going to wake up
I feel
and nobody's going to care.
like he's the next Dan
Someday.
Blizzarain or whatever his name was.
Blizarian?
Dan
Yeah,
Bilzerian.
Dan. All right.
Bilzerian.
Well, I'm gonna wind this down because I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do the baseball
And
thing.
then we'll do the baseball bit. But Shinigami, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Bill and I are quitting Craft Beer Review, and we're just hyping the Jake Paul Shinigami fight.
I
next
love
Oh
it.
man, you can't do that. Your show is too important.
Okay.
Well, why don't
Drink
you
it
drink?
here, do good things. You gotta
All
spread
right.
that message.
All right, we'll keep it going.
We'll do both. And Andy, aka Dex Winchester,
Yes,
thank you for
sir.
coming on the show.
Absolutely.
I look forward to getting a copy of your book and checking it out because
Yeah,
it's right in my
And
reach.
Shinigami, you gained a new member of the hype train.
Thanks,
Hell
man.
yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I'm going
Nice
to
to
send you
meet
one
you
of these
too, brother.
too.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Craft Beer Review Show. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.